How would you like to learn the secrets to developing your forehand return into a weapon? Well, in today's video lesson, I'm going to show you one of the best players in the world hitting a forehand return. And I'm going to break down the technique step by step for you to help you get to the next level. My name is Jeff Salzenstein. I'm the founder of Tennis Evolution. I'm absolutely passionate about helping players like you get to the next level. And the forehand return is a great place to start if you want rapid improvement. Now, Andrey Rublev is one of the biggest hitters in the game, and he absolutely crushes his return to serve. And one of the reasons he does it is because he has amazing technique. He's refined his technique to a point where it's so efficient that he can just unleash on the ball with as little effort as possible. Now, as he's putting a lot of effort into this return, because his technique is so good, it allows him to do some special things. Now, in this video, I'm going to focus more on a step-by-step formula for his return, a technique focus that can help you with your return when you get out on the courts. Now, there's a lot going on with his movement as well. Maybe we can talk about that in another video, but in today's video, we're going to focus on his forehand return stroke mechanics. Let's take a look right now. This is a slow motion video of his preparing to serve. Now, as he's preparing, you'll notice that he's moving forward, and I'm just going to let you take a look at it before I comment. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at some of these things from a technical standpoint. Now, the first thing I want you to notice is that as he's preparing in his ready position, notice how the racket tip is up. Notice how he's holding a forehand grip already. A lot of players hold a backhand grip. It's not wrong, it's not right. I prefer to hold a forehand grip, especially as a two-handed player. If you have a one-handed backhand, that's a different story. But I like how he uses a forehand grip. And in this case, he's got his offhand on the throat of the racket. Now, typically, I like to have the hands together in the ready position if you have a two-hander. But because he's standing this far behind the baseline, and this is the little nuance, because he's standing so deep, he has time to have this hand on the throat of the racket. So I like his ready position with the forehand grip. I like that the racket tip is up. So this allows him to make a great first move with the racket tip up. So that's the first key in the forehand return here I want you to notice, the grip and the racket tip up in that ready position. Now let's take it to the next phase. Let's take it to that first move. He sees that it's going to come to his forehand return. His racket tip is still up. And then look, the racket tip stays up in his first move. Now you can't see it very well, but this off arm is pretty straight and it's across the body. So I love his posture. I love how up and down he is. He's not leaning forward. He's not leaning back. He's not leaning to the side. His off arm is pulled across the body and his racket tip is up. I also want you to notice how the elbow is away. If you can just practice making this first move instead of the move that you are making, because listen, if you sent a video to me, 99% of the players that I see do not make a move that looks like this. So see if you can model him with the arm across, with the posture up, with the elbow away and the racket tip up. That would be a huge win. Instead of trying to put it all together right away, improve your first move. So I love how the elbow is away. I love in the backswing how the racket stays on the hitting side of the body. It does not break the plane and come over to this side of the body. It stays on his right side. This is something that I struggled with as a pro tennis player. I broke the plane too much. Now, even though I got to top 100 in the world, it still wasn't as efficient as this guy's. He got to the top 10. He's moving on up. One of the reasons is because of his incredible technique. So the racket stays on the hitting side. That's the third key, all right? The fourth key that we're going to talk about, and remember, we're not focusing on the movement today. We're focusing on the technique. I want you to notice the extension. So not many players get that type of extension on their forehand return or even their forehand. So look at how that arm and that hand have extended out towards the target. This is something the pros do that club players typically don't. So if you can copy the pros and extend more, that would help your forehand return tremendously. Another thing I'd like you to point out is just how still his body is standing. He hasn't opened up. His chest is still facing towards this coach right here. He hasn't over-rotated. His head is still looking in this direction. He hasn't turned his head to look over the net. Most players are already looking by now. And he's using this offhand for balance. So this is a great checkpoint because when he makes contact, you can see his body position, you can see his head position and his hand position. And even after contact, as he's pushing out and extending, the body is in a very similar position. The offhand is there for balance, the extension is there, the chest is still facing towards the side more. So I love this. That's the fourth key. And the final key is his finish. Notice how when he finishes, he kind of rolls his wrist or rolls his hand. He turns it over. The strings are facing the net, but that's not really the big key. The big key is where, look how he stops the racket right there. A lot of players have a long follow through and they bring their racket over their shoulder or they bring their racket under their shoulder and it's a very long swing. Look at how compact and short his swing is. He's stopping the racket out in front. This is something that I teach day in and day out to stop the finish on the forehand return. The faster the ball comes, the shorter the finish. A lot of players say, oh my gosh, the faster the ball comes, I need to take a shorter backswing. Nope, shorter backswing is important, but I believe that a shorter follow through is even more critical to your forehand success. So see if you can model Rublev's finish, where you finish high. You know, he's finishing, his hands about at nose height or elbow height. Finishes high, doesn't finish low, and he has the racket out in front. Now, let's review this step-by-step formula here. Step one is the grip or the ready position. He's got a forehand grip with the racket tip up. This is excellent. He's in a very, very powerful, efficient position. Step number two is his first move. Racket tip is up, off arm is across, elbow is away. This is fantastic. Body is upright. Step number three is his backswing. He keeps the racket on the hitting side, on the right side. He doesn't take too big of a backswing. This is absolutely fantastic. Step four is contact through to the finish. Look at that extension. The arm is straight. This offhand is here for balance. His head and his eyes still facing this direction. His body is facing this direction. And again, look at this high finish with the extension here. And then step number five, getting into the finish, he rolls the hand, he turns the hand over, gives them a little bit more spin. The hand finishes high, but what's most important is that he stops his finish, something a lot of players don't do. Now I want you to think about this for a moment as it relates to your return. How many of these 5 keys are you excelling at? If you were to grade yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 in all 5 areas, what grade would you give? You can even leave a comment below. Step 1 is the ready position. Step 2 is the first move. Step 3 is the backswing. Step 4 is extension. And step 5 is the finish. You could rate each one of those on a scale of 1 to 10 and let me know what you think, because most players are failing in 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 of these areas. So I want you to chip away at them. I want you to get your setup right. And remember, with the setup, let me talk about this for a moment. With the setup, if you have a two-handed backhand, you can have your hands together. What I'm looking for is the forehand grip and the racket tip up. If you have a one-handed backhand, you might want to have a backhand grip and just learn to change the grip. So, rate yourself and start chipping away. Improve your setup and your ready position. Improve your first move. And then I would improve the finish. The backswing and the extension can come later as long as your first move and your finish are solid. If you enjoyed this lesson and you learned some tips that can help you with your forehand serve return technique, I'd love for you to give us a thumbs up, because when you do, it shares the love, and it lets other tennis players know about Tennis Evolution and our channel. So I'd really appreciate it if you did that. And also, I'm gonna give you a free membership today. That's right, no strings attached, no credit card, no payment. All you have to do is click the link below this video or somewhere in this video. We're gonna give you 21 free lessons inside the Tennis Evolution app and inside the online membership portal. All you have to do is click below or somewhere in this video to get access to these powerful lessons that can help you transform your tennis.